Alright everyone, it's very quite simple. Smash the free like button if WrestleMania 41 is going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like WWE has 100% rushed the one and only WrestleMania 41 and their booking and all that jazz. I just have to say, they kind of went too far, unfortunately, but quite frankly, that's kind of their downfall right now. It's their downfall, first and foremost. So let's go ahead and just talk about it real quick. So, hello everybody, welcome back to another Bryce Pitts 01 video, and today we're going to be talking about a few things like WrestleMania and other future superstars in WWE and all of the above. So let's get started here. So, of course, we're going to have none other than John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I'm going to say that John Cena's going to win this because, since he's a heel now for the first time ever in 2025, and he's going to absolutely crush Cody Rhodes, and then he's probably going to win the title back at SummerSlam, and then meanwhile, John Cena's going to become a good guy, and then maybe win the Intercontinental Championship. I would be very disappointed if he doesn't win the Intercontinental Championship. This will suck 100%, and I will not appreciate that 100%. So I'm hoping that they do not go with this decision. If they do, then I don't know what else they will have to do or willing to do, but yeah. And speaking of the female wrestlers, let's go ahead and talk about them real quick. So we have the women's tag team match, which is going to have the tag team titles on the line, obviously. Raquel Rodriguez or Gonzalez versus, no, take that back. She's actually going to be teaming up with Liv Morgan in this match because they're both tag team champions. And then meanwhile, you have Bayley versus Valkyrie. Not going to say her name, but her name is Valkyrie. That's basically about it. She was basically the first Intercontinental Champion. So I don't know what to say, to be honest. This is kind of bogus because I thought they were going to save the tag team match for Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania so they can win the title. So the Wyatt Six can have some gold to wrap around their waist, but I guess that's not the case. So they're planning on doing something with Alexa Bliss. I don't know, which is kind of bogus, I guess. I don't know. Not liking how this is going, to be honest. So I'm not gonna care about the tag team. It's just not gonna it's just not gonna be one of those things. It's just not gonna do it. It's not gonna do it for me. It's just gonna suck. But it is what it is, unfortunately. So, yeah. So the women's tag team match gonna be hugely bogus of lame, or it's just gonna be lame, obviously. So next we're gonna have the WWE Women's Undisputed Championship. Oh boy, this one's gonna be a doozy, which I'm not going to be happy about, by the way. So let's just go ahead and talk about it real quick. This is how things are gonna go. I have 3 different predictions. These are just kind of random. I'm just gonna go along with it anyway. So let's just say either Charlotte Flair wins fair and square, or it's going to be a DQ match. Like, they're going to be so angry at each other because they were saying a bunch of diss at each other and blah, blah, blah. Or they're just going to have to just, give it up to Tiffany Stratton. I don't want Tiffany Stratton to win because, let's be honest, she doesn't really deserve to win it. I mean, let's think logically here. If we haven't learned anything in history of professional wrestling, there's always between a wrestler who has the championship versus the person who wants to win the championship at WrestleMania. So basically, that isn't the case for Tiffany Stratton, if you think about it. So if Tiffany Stratton has the championship and Charlotte Flair is going after her, then that means the championship is on the line. So that means Charlotte Flair is going to take the title from Tiffany Stratton, which makes sense, right? Well, she's probably going to defend the championship and win the whole thing. Is that what I think is going to happen? I'm going to keep it about a buck 50-50 because I ain't holding my breath because I hate this woman. I already have talked about her so many times on this channel. I don't need to bring her up again. She just sucks. And nobody's going to change my mind because she's not the greatest, okay? I mean, she lost to Becky Lynch, okay? I still have a grudge against this to this very day. She shouldn't have lost to Becky Lynch, but guess what? It did anyway, so it's probably going to ruin her reputation. And I don't care because, most of you people don't understand that, oh, Tiffany Stratton's great. Why would you? It's like, no. You're brainwashed in your own mind, thinking that she's the better, she's great, she's better. No, she's the worst. Terrible. Not a fan of her, despise her, whatever. So, if Charlotte Flair had the championship, then it would have been a whole different obstacle, because Tiffany Stratton would have defeated Charlotte Flair if she was champion. But we got to think logically here. If Tiffany has the championship, is what I'm saying. If Tiffany Stratton has the championship, that basically means that Charlotte Flair has to take the title from Tiffany Stratton. But I know some people are going to say, but the people who hold on to the championship still defends their championship at any pay-per-view, no matter if they lose it to somebody else or they don't. If Tiffany Stratton can keep her title at WrestleMania, then it might be that prediction. It might happen. If it's not the actual prediction, then Charlotte Flair's going to win it. But if you ask me, I think it's going to be either Charlotte Flair winning it, or it's going to be a DQ that nobody wins and Tiffany Stratton holds on to the title. Even though some people might not be happy with the results, but I think that's how they're going to go along with it. I'm 100% sure. I'm very, very sure that's what it's going to come down to. So there you go. So those are my thoughts. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Let's move on. Now, the WWE Women's World Championship. Now, this match right here, I'm looking forward for this, obviously. I know some people are not a fan of how this was booked, but you know what? Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either. But, however, am I a big fan of Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and my favorite Japanese wrestler of all time, Io Sky? Absolutely. And you know what? I think Io Sky or Rhea Ripley has this in the bag. And I'm not going to leave out Bianca because, she won, against Asuka, which thank goodness, because I'm not a fan of Asuka. I'm just more of an Io Sky type of person or fan, whatever you like to say, because it's true. It's nothing but the truth. And Io Sky is more better and successful than, Asuka. And, you can say, oh, but what about, her long reigning defending? That means nothing to me, okay? Like, she lost to Charlotte Flair. And, some people are like, oh my gosh, they're going to be so up in arms about it. Be up in arms about it. Be mad. I don't care. That's how WWE booked it. If Asuka wouldn't have had beaten Charlotte, she probably would have been the greatest female wrestler of all time. But it is what it is, and that's how it went. So don't be, too upset about it, because that's how it happened. So it is what it is. That's how it all came all crashing down. That's all. That's all how it happened. Nothing else. So, biggest oopsie in history, if you will. All right, next. Now, this one's going to be very controversial. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. So, your boy, Jey Uso, a.k.a. Yeet, let's just say, he's not going to be main evented at all, which is kind of sad because, a world championship has to be a main event, scene. You can't skip out the world championship. I get it that they're trying to save that for John Cena and Cody Rhodes and CM Punk versus Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, obviously. Like, are you kidding me? That's sad, bro. Okay, I guess my man Jey Uso has to win this at WrestleMania. If that isn't the case, then I guess Gunther's gonna win. I don't know, man. You're playing with fire here. I don't know. Don't do it. It's not even worth it. I'm telling you, my man, it is not really worth it. So I'm going to say Jey Uso for the prediction to win at WrestleMania. Yes, these two are not going to be main evented, which sucks. And speaking of the ones that are going to be main eventing WrestleMania, is going to be CM Punk versus the one and only Seth freaking Rollins and Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief. Now, this one's going to be interesting now because this is going to be the first time that CM Punk is finally going to main event at WrestleMania where he deserved. He was waiting for this moment for a long time. He's been waiting for this to happen, which I do not blame CM Punk because he really wanted to be, in the spot of WrestleMania. And there you go. He did it. He made it at WrestleMania. And is he going to win? Maybe. I don't know. Unless, Paul Heyman's going to do some weird, mind trick stuff. Like he's still with the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. If Roman Reigns wins, then there you go. That would kind of ruin CM Punk's chances. I really don't want that. I really don't want that to be the case. I really don't want that, honestly. I think for all time's sakes, just give it to CM Punk. Just get it done and over with, and he'll be happy, and, he'll finally got his main event, and hopefully he'll main event another WrestleMania at WrestleMania 42, or this one's the 41st, which is, in Los Angeles, California. The other one's going to take, No, it's going to take place in Nevada. You know what I'm trying to say. It's going to take place in Nevada. My apologies. My apologies. Had a little brain fart. It's normal. It happens. So, yeah. There you go. And then, of course, New Orleans for WrestleMania 42nd. So, yeah, there you go. So, hopefully CM Punk wins. I'll say that. CM Punk should come out for the win. And the weirdest booking, I have to give this to the WWE. We're going to see freaking the phenomenal AJ Styles going up against the terrible YouTuber of all time, Logan Paul. AJ Styles has got to win against the one and only AJ Styles. AJ Styles has to win against himself. No, Logan Paul, obviously. That was a pun. That was a joke. But jokes aside, yeah, Logan Paul has to lose to the phenomenal AJ Styles. That would just be such a huge disrespect and a slap in the face to a former WWE champion, former United States champion, and of course intercontinental champion AJ Styles. So AJ Styles for the win, no questions asked. He has to win, respectfully. It's nothing but a huge waste. It's sad. I don't specifically like it. I think it's a huge mistake. But I guess the reason why they add them because they're both high flyers, and you know that's gonna make the fans go popping. You know they'll go wild. They'll love it. So that makes sense, sure. But again, lazy booking. You know you gotta make them have a storyline why they're going up against each other. Then the next one you have Chad Gable, who's basically dressing up as a American luchador, fighting against none other than Rey Mysterio. I think it's Rey Mysterio. I could possibly be wrong on that, so let me check real quick. All right, what else? Yeah, I was right, actually. What else? Oh, yes. Drew McIntyre is going up against Damian Priest. I guess that makes sense because, you know, they had a huge beef at WrestleMania 40 because, you know, he lost his championship to him because, you know, he cashed in. He was the new champion, and now he wasn't because of CM Punk, because he distracted old McIntyre, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, there you go. Again, these were kind of just random bookings, I guess, but the third one I was talking about, which is Damian Priest versus McIntyre, that makes sense. Sure. You could have made that into a storyline, but, you know, quite frankly, that's okay. Whatevs. Yeah. So I guess I don't know what they're going to do with Alexa Bliss, which is kind of a little bit sad. I wish they would do something with her. I don't know if she's going to, like, just reappear and show up in the tag team match or the women's match, which would make absolute no sense. But I will want to talk about Alexa Bliss on one thing, however. This is what I would love to see. And hear me out. I'm not going to like this, but it will make sense at the very end. So hear me out. Next year, Royal Rumble in 2026 in the worst place of all time, Saudi Arabia. So, we're going to see that happen, obviously. Unless if something gets canceled, unless, I don't know, a massive war goes on and nothing happens and they do it only in the U.S. I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong. But, I wish they would never wrestle there, to be honest. But, again, moving on. Yeah. So, I'm going to say Nia Jax should win the Women's Royal Rumble in 2026. Now, the Women's Royal Rumble in 2025 was a little bit questionable. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the one and only. I truly love 100% the one, the only Charlotte Flair winning, which I do, but I just feel like they should have gave it to Io Sky. Couldn't get it done and over with, or just give it up to Alexa Bliss to win it. And speaking of Alexa Bliss, we'll come back to her right about now. Alexa Bliss should fight Nia Jax. Think about it. Think about WrestleMania 36 that took place in Orlando. Not Orlando, Florida, but New Orleans. If you all remember, Alexa Bliss was champion at the time, and she lost to Nia Jax. So, when I'm proposing for this booking that I'm creating, I want to see Alexa Bliss going after Nia Jax if she wins the Royal Rumble, which makes sense. If she goes after her and wins the Royal Rumble, Nia Jax wins it, wins the whole thing, without making it too sketchy or whatever. And then all you got to do is get Alexa Bliss to challenge her, and WrestleMania happens. You save it for night 1, night 2, or just do it for a full-on night on Saturdays only or Sundays. I don't care. Honestly, they need to go back to doing WrestleMania on Saturdays, not Sundays. No. I got it all wrong, actually. What I'm trying to say is just do it on a Sunday. If it's WrestleMania, do it on a Sunday. If you want to continue doing 2 nights, whatever, go ahead. So I don't know. I'm just kind of more of a WrestleMania on Sundays instead of a Saturdays kind of guy, which I know I love Saturdays because Saturday is like, people don't have to go to work and kids don't have to go to school, blah blah blah. Yeah. And then what else? Oh yes, we have LA Knight versus the one and only Jacob Fatu. That's going to be an interesting match. And then we have Naomi versus Jay Cargill, which I can care less about that match. Blah blah blah, and etc. 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 And no updates for Randy Orton, I guess. So yeah, we might get an update. Who knows? Make sure you like and comment, subscribe for more videos. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.